You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Cult Talk Net, our very first, technically, 4th of July network special.
Woohoo! America!
This is this is our first technical 4th of July special, like as a network. You know, because we've done Call to Campbell specials, we've done, I guess Call to Campbell specials really only we've done for 4th of July, but this is something people don't know. We had actually shot a 4th of July special video our first year.
Thank God.
That never got released.
Nope.
Thank God.
Doesn't need to be.
There was some technical issues with the audio that didn't get released. It was like a full video review of the 1996 holiday classic, Uncle Sam.
You keep using the word classic. Like, he's not even in that movie.
He's in there.
Some,
Yeah.
Isn't he a zombie? Uncle Sam?
Yeah, he's a zombie. He's a zombie Uncle Sam.
I hated that
He
movie.
kills people.
I mean, he technically does with taxes, so...
Listen,
Whoa, zinger.
I would
Hot take.
prefer... I would prefer Thanksgiving 3 to
Oh, no!
Oh, whoa, wow.
Uncle Sam.
Dude.
I cannot back that up.
I'll
Why?
tell you why, because of that 8-bit fight scene that's in it.
Oh, that's so. Yeah, you were a big fan of that.
That scene was awesome. I like that. They could have done the whole movie that way. There is not a scene in Uncle Sam where I'm like, yeah, if they'd have just done more of this, I'd have been down. I'm like, nah, you'd have just had to, I don't know, kill everyone.
Yeah, it is a slog to get through. I've watched it a few times. I don't know why. Every time I watch it, I get like partially into it. I'm like, why am I watching this? I don't know. I think it's the concept. Like, I like see it and I'm like, there's an Uncle Sam slasher. Maybe it'd be fun this time. And I watch it and it's never a good time. But
Maybe
for some
it'll be fun
reason,
this time.
No, not especially not when you look at some of the quality ones we've gotten with Santa.
Yes.
Is it Santa Slays with Goldberg?
Yeah,
Goldberg.
that one's all right one. Yeah, I like that movie a lot more. Like, 'cause me and Eric did that for like our first year of Christmas, Cult Talk Christmas, and I didn't enjoy it that much because it's like only the Goldberg scenes are good. Like that's the only thing that movie has going for it. Like every other thing is like
Uncle
bad.
Uncle Sam doesn't have that.
No, Uncle Sam doesn't have anything. It doesn't. It's so that it just there's a whole market of like holiday horror movies are a staple in horror.
Silent Night was good.
Silent Night was good, yeah.
Wasn't?
But why is there more like 4th of July horror movies? It's just that's the one holiday we haven't really seen a good holiday horror movie
Did The
for.
Purge do a 4th of July version?
I think.
I feel like
it
it.
was election year.
Yeah, their movies are always like patriotic themed in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if any have happened on 4th of July. I don't know what the annual Purge date is in those
It's
movies.
like
But
May something.
Anyway,
Like in spring.
We're kicking off this summer with the very first summer blockbuster, right? Like the movie that defined the fucking term.
the granddaddy of them all. This is, of course, the 1975 American horror movie classic. I wouldn't call it a horror movie, really. I think people
It's a
always put this
thriller.
like a horror movie. So, yeah, I can't really call it a horror movie. A thriller. Steven Spielberg's Jaws.
Oh, yeah, definitely not Peter Benchley's.
Yeah, yeah. I remember in high school, I found Jaws at like our school library. I was like super psyched to read it, and I was like, "This is awful. This is terrible. This book is terrible."
Oh my God, me and Ty have the exact same story. It was my senior year. I found it in our library. I was like, fucking sweet. I read it. I was like, oh my God, I want the shark to win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every character in that book it's almost shocking how bad
Yeah.
every character is. Because like I grew up with the movies, and I'm like, Brody and Hooper, like these are like good dudes. And
No.
And in the book, they're just the worst people.
Oh gosh.
I said that the only interesting part of that entire book is the scenes where it's from the shark's point of view.
Yeah, that's
No, that would be cool.
That was fine. The movie did that relatively well, I guess. With the underwater scenes and stuff, kind of did that. But that book was, I'll never read that book again. Ever.
I almost wonder if some of the music they used in Jaws the movie was from the point of view of the shark.
Like the representation.
Yeah, like the adventure music.
It's John Williams, so that type of thought is possible. Anyway, let's break his bitch down.
Yeah, this was, of course, directed by Steven Spielberg.
That's
From
right. He makes a cameo in this,
He does. Just about everyone in the crew has a cameo in this movie.
Oh, cool.
They didn't have a whole lot of people.
Yeah. There's I think even the screenwriters have. Peter Benchley has a cameo in it.
Although he was eventually escorted off set.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah, he was causing a lot of problems with the massive changes they were making to his script.
Oh, no.
And so eventually they're like, you know what, man, he kept trying to like insert romantic scenes that nobody wanted. So eventually they were just like, dude, why don't you go away?
Like they're here to see a shark.
Well, he's credited as a screenwriter.
Yeah.
It's like the screenwriters are credited are Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb. But there's like 6 or 7 people that had their hands in this at certain points to help kind of put it together.
It's amazing it came out as smooth as it did.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of those movies. Yeah, this is one of those movies where like, in a lot of ways, the chaos behind the scenes really actually helped the movie in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some of the reasons why we have the shots that are as good as they are is because they didn't have the stuff that they were trying to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because the first attack scene, which is notorious for being this very like tense and foreboding, mysterious scene where you don't get to see the monster. People always bring it up and talk about don't show the monster. Wait. Well, the original storyboard for the first scene was a big, climactic, scene of the shark bursting from the water with Christy in his mouth and thrashing around and blood going everywhere. Like that was the way it was originally storyboarded. It wasn't storyboarded as this very ominous scene where the monster is just underneath the water and you can't see it. That wasn't the way it was scripted.
That's very interesting. And how different the movie would have been if we had a sort of a more grandiose opening. But I mean, that's exactly what I thought of was the crane. And that that went so terribly wrong, and yet it's such a brilliant like all you see in that scene is just pure terror, and it's amazing.
Yeah. A lot of that has to do too with the way that it was actually shot, like the actual effects of that. Because the way that it was actually shot is the buoy in the background, the swim breaker. Underneath that, there is an eye hook. They tied a rope around Christie's waist, and then the rope was ran in two directions to 2 pull teams on the beach. So this girl was like actually out in the middle of the water, and there's a team of guys on one side of the beach and a team of guys on the other side of the beach, and they just pulled this rope back and forth. And she was legitimately in the middle of the water just being yanked around.
She had this harness on, that the ropes were attached to, and it had bolts that the padding had actually either worn through or wasn't sufficient, and the bolts actually started to cut into her sides as she was being jerked. So those screams she's letting out and the cries for help are because she's actually feeling like she's being stabbed by those bolts that were jabbing the shit out of her. So like that whole scene is
and what a horrific way shoot a scene anyways. Like there's no way to get out. Like if you are actually in pain or dying, they're just like great job. Like
great acting,
you're doing good. Like I know like even Bruce talked about in Evil Dead 2 where he was like getting drowned by the blood fountain in Evil Dead 2, and they told him like to wave his arms if he was drowning, but then like also the direction for the scene was to wave his arms as he was being spewed. So it's like there's no way to get out of something like that. Like how do you get out of that? Like they're just gonna think like, man, they're really selling this. Good job. Make sure we're getting all this.
That poor lady.
Yeah, she had.
But I mean, you get to say that you're part of one of the most iconic scenes in movie history.
Yeah.
So, take your scars and take your page in history, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but with the screenwriting of it, like we said, Peter Benchley, Carl Gottlieb are the 2 credited. Carl Gottlieb is actually credited for a lot of the comedic parts of the story.
Thank God, because those are perfect.
Yeah, because that's what he worked on. He was a screenwriter known for comedy. Like he did The Odd Couple back in the 70s. So
that was some of Matt Hooper's and Quint's interactions.
Yep. Exactly.
Where he's like, I can't take this abuse much longer.
Yeah, because I guess before he came on, it was just the screenplay was so depressing. Like that was one of the big things. They were like, we can't shoot this. It's too fucking depressing. So that was why Spielberg got him on board, is to lighten things up a little bit.
Nice.
Also, John Milius. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He is just a legend in screenwriting as far as action goes. He's done Red Dawn, Conan the Barbarian, Apocalypse Now, Dirty Harry. He did all those movies.
You know what? And I can see some of little bits of those in Jaws at times.
Yeah, he's responsible for a lot of Quint's dialogue.
Yeah.
Especially like the big monologue that was all him.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the original script that was about a paragraph. It was just kind of like, I served on Indianapolis and there's a bunch of sharks kind of thing. But then Milius took it and made it into what it is now.
Oh my gosh. It's
with help from Robert Shaw. Robert Shaw also added some of that stuff in.
That scene is still just bone chilling, like all the way down to its very core. Because when we rewatched it, and it had been a while since I had watched Jaws the first time. Like I first watched it when I was like a kid, and even watching it to this day, you still get that same effect of just chillingly haunted by what happened to him. And I mean, brilliant acting, brilliant writing. It's just such a beautiful moment when that comes together.
For a long time after this movie came out, that was like the sequel was what that was being. That was what a lot of people were talking about as the sequel to Jaws, was going to be a prequel to the Quint story. It was going to be
interesting.
The Indianapolis sinking. There's actually a movie called the USS Indianapolis Men of Valor or something like that. It has Nicolas Cage in it. And it's basically it's one of his, like, that weird period he had a few years back where he was it was before he started doing like the wacky stuff that got him like back into like the spotlight. It was like that weird part where he was like doing just like complete garbage. Yeah, he was doing like anything. Yeah, there's a movie called U.S. Indianapolis Men of Valor, and it's basically the Quint story, but it's not that good from what I hear. It's pretty bad.
I'd watch it just to try it, just to see what it is. I don't know.
I've wasted many hours doing that.
I know. That's how you fall into that.
Yeah. You're stepping on a slippery slope there.
I know. I've been hanging around you too much. My tolerance is starting to okay, maybe I could try it.
I know. I can see the exact poster. He's in like a white uniform with a blue background. Like,
yep. I think you see really? Like he's like really badly airbrushed. Like, and there's like I think like some really shitty like Photoshop shark fins down below to kind of try to tie it in with the Jaws movie. There's another movie too, like back in like the early 90s or late 80s, that was about the U.S. Indianapolis as well. I remember seeing like on TV one time on like TNT or something. But it wasn't as good either.
It is surprising that hasn't been a movie that's been retapped, because even without Jaws making it, obviously an iconic moment, it's a damn phenomenal story to bring to screen anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
It really is surprising that hasn't been touched.
Yeah, it's a horrific story too. Like I remember last podcast on the left, they did like a full like 3-part series on it. Oh, cool. And there's like some really horrific stuff in there, like stuff they don't talk about. Like there's if you're in seawater for too long, like a lot of the guys that were in the water for so long, they actually their hands degloved. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's pretty obvious. So you get a cut on your hand, and the salt water just eat around, and you try to grab onto something, and you just deglove your hand. Like that was actually a thing that a lot of the guys that were on the U.S. Indianapolis suffered, was their skin would peel off, like, just from being in the water and salt baking on it. They would just, skin would just fall off. It was brutal. So, sharks were definitely like not, I guess, the worst thing going on in that situation.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. That's absolutely terrible.
But of course that scene, fantastic, and that in addition to John Milius writing it, Robert Shaw plays Quint fantastically. He's the reason I think that resonates so much, because that's a pretty powerful monologue, and he delivers it like to a T. Oh yeah, he delivers it with all the gravitas that you would expect somebody that has lived through that to deliver it to. There's a part where he says, like, he pauses for a moment, and then he says, and then you hear that high pitched screaming, but he pauses, and the way he delivers that line, he goes, and then you hear that high pitch, and it's just like he's just waiting for it to happen, because it's happened so many times that he just knows it's what follows. Yep. And it's just a good, solid piece of acting.
Yeah. He's kind of describing it like an assembly line at that point. Like he knows, like, this is the pattern that it goes in.
Correct.
Then you also have Roy Scheider, who plays Chief Brody. Roy Scheider was actually, at this time, he was actually really coming up in the acting world at this time. He was kind of establishing himself as a A-lister.
Sweet.
As kind of like a big like action movie kind of guy was what he was doing at this time. He was doing like The French Connection was one of his films. The 7-Ups, which I watched a lot when I was a kid. My grandpa was a big fan of that movie, so I watched that a lot. Then you had, of course, Richard Dreyfuss, who is the only one still living from the original 3 at this time.
Yep. He's
as of this recording. Standing. Yeah, he's last man standing. He would go on to do, of course, work with Spielberg on Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is a great movie. That's a. Have you ever seen that?
We started it and we didn't get to finish it.
Really?
I've seen Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. That was fabulous.
That was just the fourth kind.
Yeah.
Was it?
With Alien?
Yeah, just the fourth kind. Yeah, with
yeah, that was just called the fourth kind.
Yeah, that was called Fourth Kind. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's a good one. I loved that movie when I was a kid. It was a movie scared the shit out of me for some reason. I watch it now, I'm like, what the hell is so scary with this damn movie? I don't know why it scared the shit. For some reason, when I was a kid, I was scared that scared the shit out of me. The whole UFO landing, like resting behind his truck when he's at the train stop, scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
You know, we didn't, like I said, we didn't get to finish it, but as we were rewatching it, watching it as an adult, I was like, this is probably one of the more accurate representations of what that would be like for a small town.
Yeah, it's definitely a very accurate representation of like mental health. I feel like now watching it later on in life, I'm like, man, that guy just having like a very realistic mental break.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's done very well. Yeah, absolutely. If you saw something of that magnitude, like how would you handle that? Lorraine Gary, she plays Chief Brody's wife, and she would actually go on to be in 3 of the 4 movies.
Yeah, she's the only one that would reoccur from the first movie that many times.
Oh, wow. Yep. Not even Chief Brody would.
Nope. Brody turned down. He was offered a role in each one of the movies. He came for the sequel, part 2, which is a very underrated sequel.
It is. You know what? I didn't hate it. I liked it. When I was a kid, I liked that more than the first one just because it had more stuff going on. So when I was a kid, I was much more in tune to watching that one. She would not reprise her role in the 3rd one, but she would reprise her role in the 4th one, Jaws: The Revenge, which is a whole other story for another time. Yeah, I guess because he had such a miserable time filming this first movie, they actually had to use his contract, make it a contractual film for him to do the second one.
Oh, wow.
He didn't want to do it. They're like, fine, we're pulling. Because, when actors sign on, they get you have to do 3 movies for us, plus you get to do 1 movie you want to do. Mm-hmm. They had to use up one of their movies to get him to return for the second one because he's just like, I don't want to fucking do this shit anymore.
Oh, shit.
He hated that.
Yeah, he doesn't do much either in the 4th or in the second one. Anyways, you can tell it's definitely like he's there on obligation. He spends a lot of time on a boat by himself, just driving around the ocean. At the end, they finally utilize you have to do something in this movie.
Yeah, we have a hefty role.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot, and then at the end, he gets to kill a shark. But Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, have you ever seen the movie Piranha 3D?
Yeah.
In that, it's non-canonical, but he talks about it a lot in interviews. That's his death. For Hooper.
I mean, he definitely looks like him.
Oh,
he wears the same outfit as Matt Hooper in the first Jaws. He's drinking Amityville beer.
Yeah,
and he's singing the song they all sing on the
"Show Me the Way to Go Home."
Yeah, "Show Me the Way to Go Home" when he dies. And his wife, when she calls in, they're like, we gotta go look for Matt. And Matt didn't call back. Didn't come home last night. They do say that in dialogue. So he said that's him ending Matt Hooper. So if you ever want to see a non-canonical death of Matt Hooper, you can watch Jaws 3D.
That kind of sucks because Matt's my favorite. I really like Hooper.
Hooper is good. Good character. Character has got a lot of cult following in the years recently. I think mainly because he's one of the last surviving characters or actors, and he does a lot of conventions as the deputy. He does a lot. He does a ton of conventions. Yeah, he does a ton of conventions, and I'm on a lot of Jaws fan groups. And he has this huge following now. People just think the deputy is just
good for him.
Awesome.
I hope that he is having fun with it.
Oh, he absolutely is. I'm sure he's
who isn't having a fan group is the fucking mayor.
Oh god, yeah. The Jaws mayor. It's so funny because the mayor has became this character in himself. Every cheap horror movie now has to have their Jaws mayor.
Oh yeah. Keep the beaches open.
Yeah, but you know what you don't have is that Jaws mare jacket. That goddamn blue corduroy motherfucker with the embroidered fucking anchors on it. You bastard. Like, what is that?
His like $999 yacht club jacket.
Yeah, can you imagine how expensive that was to make and how terrible it looked?
Dude, my favorite's the pink suit he wears on the opening day.
Fucking Easter egg.
No, he looks like an ice cream man, like getting ready to serve soft serve.
You know what he kind of reminds me of? He looks like a combination of what's his name from Family Guy, John Wayne Twitty or Conway Twitty. Conway Twitty, yeah. Kind of looks like Conway Twitty and Hugo from Bob's Burgers. Oh.
Dude, you're freaking right though.
But goddamn, like he's that bastard is such like the scene where they're talking to him in front of the sign and Hooper's just like losing his shit trying to explain to this guy that he's got a shark that's eating people and all he cares about is that they've painted on the sign. I am standing right next to Hooper going, kill him. Push him off the cliff, Hooper. You can do it. Kill him now. Because I agree. Like you've got to, this guy is insane.
Mm-hmm.
This is of course played by Murray Hamilton. He's in the Amityville Horror. I remember seeing him in that years later.
What does he play in the Amityville Horror?
In the Amityville Horror, he is, let's see his name, Father Ryan.
Oh, in the original or the...
Yeah, the original.
Okay. I'm going to have to rewatch that now.
I wonder if he screwed up being a mayor and then joined the priesthood. And then he just realized that this fucking town sucks. He's like, fuck Amityville. Sharks, it's got demons. I'm out of here.
Well, in the book, he's supposed to be like, have ties to the mob. Like there's a whole mob subplot they cut out in the movie.
Yeah, it was in the script, but they kept cutting it. And it was one of those things that Peter Benchley just kept bitching about, and they finally told him to take a hike.
Yeah, because it was like that's a big part of the reason why the mayor won't shut the beaches down in the book is because like the town owes money to the mob.
Yeah, and he was going to skim some of the profits from the tourists.
Yep, I think is that the first thing Jerry said the whole episode.
Yes,
Jerry's here. From Call to War, it's Jerry.
I'm around.
You're like the shark from Jaws. You just kind of you're there. You pop up.
It's so quiet.
And what's funny is people, obviously they can't see it. Ty's been looking at Jerry this whole time.
I haven't.
Something, and it's just like, God damn it, Jerry.
Here's his head up. Then he's back down. And we'll talk another 15 minutes. He'll pop back up.
I'll be back later when it's more dramatic.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Are you ready for your bigger boat moment?
And of course, directed by, as we said, Steven Spielberg. This would only be his second feature movie he did previous to this, a film called Duel, which I remember seeing when I was a kid. I sought it out I think I just like learned that was his first movie. And I sought that out at my video store and found a copy of it and watched it. It's a pretty simple, like it's a made for TV movie, I believe, where this guy, this traveling salesman, is like on his way home and just a big semi targets him and starts chasing him around this like desert highway, and he's trying to get help and no one believes him, and the semi is just out to kill him. This mysterious guy chasing him. And it's kind of similar to Jaws, like in a lot of ways, where it's just a big force of nature chasing some unsuspecting
Semi's a force of nature?
It is when it's trying to fuck
when it's trying to kill you. Yeah,
maximum overdrive.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Christmas episode of Bob's Burgers when the big semi chases them that's shaped like a candy cane.
Bob's Burgers on the brain tonight.
It really is. I haven't watched it in a long time. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've never seen it. I can't believe that this was his like real first movie though. Like holy crap!
First like big feature. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about aiming big.
It truly is a big one.
Yeah, and Spielberg would go on obviously to have he's obviously legendary as far as directors go.
Oh yeah.
Some of his newer stuff not that great, not that big a fan of. But man, back in the early days, he did just have there's this people talk about this Spielbergian feel is what people talk about, and it's really hard to explain. There's something about movies like Jaws or E.T. or Encounters of the Third Kind, where it's
E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind definitely have it.
Well, yeah, it's like this whim. I don't know how to even describe it. It's there's good movies to watch. I don't know how to put it. It's like you watch it and it's just they're just very like fun to watch. They feel big even though they're not big. Like they have like a grandeur to them.
Well, Indiana Jones has that too.
Yeah.
I hate E.T. I will stand by how much I fucking hate E.T. Oh, it was so creepy.
So Ty, the next time that we do, the draw a name from the hat and you have to choose a movie.
Yeah. Maybe you watching E.T.
Don't do that to me.
Never know.
I won't know. I mean, I will, but it's not going to be a good episode. Bailey's not
gonna be you just have to stretch your imagination of what quantifies a good episode.
Dude, it's a creepy ass movie.
We know what kind of things I think are good episodes. I like to hear you guys squirm. That's what I like.
Yeah, like some of what Ty considers some of the better episodes are me having a brain aneurysm.
Yeah, those are the good ones.
Dude, so my younger sibling loved E.T. like a lot. And I think when you go, Universal, they had a Jaws ride, but they also still have the E.T. ride that's there. So when we would go, my younger sibling would go and get like a new E.T. toy from Universal after riding the Universal E.T. ride.
Which is the most milquetoast ride of milquetoast rides.
Bitch, I'd be damned if I wasn't hiding every fucking toy this bitch brought into the house because we shared a room together. So I had to see this motherfucker. And I was like, absolutely not. So of course, when we moved houses, my parents were like, oh, look at all your E.T. toys that you lost. And I'm like, yeah, they lost it. Yep. Look at all of the ones that they lost just behind the bed all together.
I was never that big of a fan of E.T. Like I watched it when I was a kid. I remember enjoying it, but not being like I never had like E.T. mania where I was like, oh my god, E.T.'s the crazy. It always me. I was kind of like I wanted to see like aliens killing things. I think
you're like E.T.'s a bitch. What the hell?
What the hell's up with this?
What got me? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There's actually a script you can find online for the E.T. sequel. It's called E.T. Dark Skies, and it's an actual sequel. The script was wrote. And it is like a darker movie where like evil ETs come to Earth looking for ET. They're on his trail, but he's already left. So they end up finding that kid and kind of like stalking that kid and like preying on his family until ET comes back to save him.
I mean, it's kind of what the CDC were going to do to ET. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Like, and that is the scene that creeps me out the very fucking most is when they're like, they put the house in the bubble and there's all the people in white and everything. This is why I don't like.
I've never read the script.
Things.
I've never read the script. That would be kind of cool if like in the script they capture one of the bad ETs and just slaughters the CDC. Like they actually get like we got it. We got the alien and it just, turns into a hard movie from there. But yeah, there's actually, you can find the script online. E.T. Dark Skies is what it's called. But yeah, like modern movies like don't really capture that as well. That feel to them. Like a couple that I can think of, like Super 8, which I think Steven Spielberg was even a producer on. So
yeah, that was actually, that one doesn't count. That was directly filmed with the idea of trying to recreate.
Yeah. And that worked out well, obviously. Yeah, I think that first Guardians movie I thought was pretty good. I had kind of like that feel to it, I thought. Guardians Galaxy. I thought it was like, it's one of those movies I could put on any time. I don't know.
I guess
Nope. That new Nope that came out, like that was its intent behind it was to do one of those kind of movies. I thought it did it really well.
The Jordan Peele film?
Yeah, it's like it does that where it's like a very grandiose movie, but it takes place in like one location kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that movie did a really good job of that. That's one of my favorite movies of last year. But yeah, that was a good one. That movie has that feel to it. I think that was one of the only times I've seen that captured outside of having Spielberg directly having his hands in it, like Super 8.
That's super cool.
Stranger Things, I guess you kind of count that as a little bit.
Yeah,
that definitely is.
Yeah,
Stranger Things has that feel. Yeah.
Homages.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Stranger Things is kind of like a love letter to Spielberg in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Yeah,
that's one you can throw on like season 1 of and like just have it on.
Season 1 of Stranger Things is so goddamn good.
It's good. I like the last season, but there's a couple seasons in the middle there where I can't even tell you what the fuck happened in them.
See, I'm trying to push Bailey through them so I can get to that last season so I can. Yeah, because I heard it was really good.
Last season's really good. Yeah, I tried going back. Like I said, I've watched them all, but I couldn't tell you shit that happens in like seasons like 3 and 4.
No, 2 and 3. 2 and
3. I don't think I remember much happening.
4 is the latest season.
Yeah, 4 is, and 5 is the last one.
Correct.
Until they do 15 spinoffs, like everything else does.
They already they tried once, and it didn't. The interest for it wasn't there, so I don't know. The episode
that was the worst episode
in season 2.
That's even like considered to be the worst episode of Stranger Things. Like,
when we watched it, when we're in season 2 now, I actually had us just skip right over that episode because I told Bailey, I said it affects nothing.
Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing.
No, he basically went through it like point by point, and I was like, does it have anything to do with the previous episode?
No,
it cuts itself out of the show, just introducing these characters that never come up again. Like, they're
to me kind of feels like, I know that they were probably using that as an intent to like test it.
That's exactly
wonderful. But
that's what it is. Yeah, that's like something that a lot of TV shows do. Like
Supernatural was really bad at that.
Yeah, Supernatural did that. That Green Arrow show, they did that a lot in Green Arrow.
Oh yeah,
where they would have like an episode where it's like, this is kind of like you'd be interested in more of this.
No.
And let's see what else. The Office did that, and it's kind of like the same thing as Stranger Things, where like that episode is considered to be like the worst episode of The Office because it was so disconnected. Like, it was so obvious it was just a
bait.
Yeah, it was like so obvious. There was an episode where Dwight has like a family reunion, and the idea was to spin it off into like a Schrutes spin-off show, because they introduced like, oh, here's my grandma, and here's my uncle, and here's my cousins, and it spends the whole time introducing these characters, and they're like, that's it, because no one wanted to see it. X-Files did that a couple times. X-Files has 2 spin-off series that they did little episodes, and they eventually had 2 series, and they each lasted like a season each, and then got canceled. But that's kind of a common thing with TV shows. Jaws doesn't do anything like that, though.
Just jawing away.
Jawing away. It happens. That's why I tell every time Michael bitches at me about this, he'll like be editing an episode. He'll be like, I got like 30 minutes in. You guys find. I was like, this is why we need a show where we just talk about shit. I've been saying it since like day one. We need a show like this, and this is why, because we get together and we just start talking about shit. But hey, it makes for good content, I think.
That's fun. Steven Spielberg, I think, just captures. And in the time he didn't mean to, but like he just captures that like warm nostalgia.
Yes, that is a good way of putting it. Because you do watch his movies and you just feel nice and warm, and it reminds you of like a simpler time.
Even if it's a horrific, like Jaws has really horrific scenes, but it doesn't bother you enough to where you could not put this on at any time and have it in the background, right? And you can say that with like the Indiana Jones movies. You can say that with a bunch of his films have kind of that appeal. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, not so much. That's a long movie, and it does require some paying attention. Yeah, that's a way more of an interactive movie, or maybe you got to focus on a little more. But hey, this is a great way to segue into our next segment. We can talk about those horrific scenes in Jaws. Let's go ahead and let's dive on in to Jaws. When is the first time you guys remember seeing Jaws? Jerry, you haven't said much this episode. Let's hear when's the first time you watched Jaws?
Oh, I know it had to be in the 90s.
Okay.
On TNT.
Ooh.
On my grandpa's couch.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's
some nostalgia for you. Was it one of those weird couches, like the really thick fucking wood couches with the weird colored like
farm scenery?
Yep.
Oh, farm scenery
with that weird fucking fabric that was like uncomfortable, kind of like shaped you a little bit, that kind of stuff. Yeah, weird shit.
Are you talking about the stuff where like if you rubbed it down one direction it was fine, if you rubbed it up another direction it was all bristly? You're like, what the fuck?
Why would
someone decided this would be a good material for like a piece of furniture.
Like, I don't like that my cat's made out of it. I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like cat tongue fabric on it.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I can picture that already. That's probably not too far from my first experience, because I know I was definitely on VHS. I know that because I remember getting a VHS one year for like my birthday, like really young, and I had that for like a long time. That same tape. But I remember I got it on VHS, and I think it might have been like a double VHS, probably like one of those two VHS sets, because the movie was longer than what it needed to be for one.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I remember watching that and being terrified of it. I'd leave the room when the music started to build. That was my cue to leave the room or get behind the couch or whatever. And then like that was my cue. I was like, all right, it's the shark's about to come up. I'm scared now.
Can you imagine Ty's little head just poking up over the couch? Still has that mustache.
Yeah, still the mustache. I was like Baby Gomez from the second Addams Family.
I love it.
But yeah, I remember that was the first time I watched it. I watched Jaws 1 a lot, but when I found Jaws 2, that's when I really watched Jaws a lot. So I remember I had an aunt and uncle who would babysit me after school, and every day, like not even like hyperbole, like every day, I'd get off the bus. My aunt would make me a glass of Ovaltine. I would pop a bag of popcorn. I'd watch Jaws 2, and that was like my routine, like every day. Like I'd get off the bus, Ovaltine, popcorn, Jaws 2. Like, that was my thing. Yeah.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
What was in Ovaltine?
It's like chocolate milk.
Yeah, it's a powder.
Yeah, like nutrients
like
in it.
Good stuff.
No.
Like stuff to make you grow. And
Nothing that they ever told us to really eat or drink in the 90s had much nutritional value. Like I remember like
sugar.
Well,
yeah,
Ovaltine's a lot older than the 90s.
Yeah, Ovaltine's ancient. They still make Ovaltine. I'm sure it's still around, right?
Oh, I'm sure they
Probably.
do. Yeah, that's definitely still got to be around. I should get some Ovaltine. I haven't had any of that in a while. But yeah, in the 90s, everything had something in it that was not good for you, but they would insist that it was.
If we throw a 90s party, we got to have Ovaltine around.
Surge.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was back a few years ago. And I remember I had like tons of that shit. Every time I go to the store, I'd grab like a 6-pack. I got 12-pack of that. The Surge. That came back like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe right before COVID hit. They had like the little.
I wish they bring
nostalgia.
it back. It was good tasting. I liked it.
I like that Crystal Pepsi they brought back. That was pretty good too.
Oh my fucking God.
Nothing Pepsi is good. It's gross.
Pepsi Zero. I'm a Pepsi Zero guy.
I'm a Coke Zero person. I'm a Diet Coke person.
Coke is vastly superior to Pepsi.
It is.
This is why we need our own show. You wouldn't have to listen to us talking about Pepsi and Coke in a Jaws episode.
Yep, absolutely. Which the first time I saw Jaws, I was probably like 8 or 9. Like we were probably still living in Vegas at that time. And like my mom introduced me to that movie. And I loved that movie. Even from like a young age, I loved horror movies. And that was like, my mom is fascinated with sharks. So when we would go to Universal, my mom and I would go and we would ride the Jaws ride together. And that would be like our thing that we got to go and do. So like the Jaws ride back in Universal, it was super cute. It was, I would have
loved that ride. I never got to ride it.
Oh, I wish they'd bring it back. You went on like this little boat tour and it was kind of like the Disney World Safari tour where like you go on this little boat tour and then all of a sudden something goes wrong and oh my God, Jaws is in the water. And like they actually had an animatronic Jaws head that would come out at the side of the boat and it would splash you. Yep. And like it was super cool. And then at the end of the boat tour, you would go and you would pass this little scene where, you know, Jaws' head is like hanging up because, you know, he exploded it.
Right, got killed.
He got killed. And everyone would clap because we all survived. None of us got eaten by sharks. And it was wonderful. And like, that's nostalgia for me. That was wonderful. So, yeah, very, very, very young age.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I honestly have no memory of the first time I saw this movie. It was way back. It was definitely early 90s. As to the first, it's just one of those movies I've always known. I couldn't tell you the first memory.
Yeah, I kind of feel that too.
I couldn't even tell you the first memory I have of watching this movie.
Yeah, like some of the first memories I have of watching, I know were not the first time I watched it, but like first time I remember watching it.
Like this is there with Terminator, Aliens.
Yeah.
Like this is just one that I had access to pretty early on. Not as early as Aliens and Terminator, but I mean, I couldn't tell you when the first time I watched it. A long time. It's always been with me.
Jaws one of those movies too. I think a lot of kids watch because it's very deceptively a PG movie.
Oh yeah,
it's rated PG.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So I feel like, and even now it's a PG-13. If you buy new copies of it, it's PG-13.
I think that's a compromise.
Yeah, but in the 90s and the 80s stuff, it was considered to be a PG movie. So I feel like a lot of kids probably got, you know, their parents like, oh, here's a PG movie about sharks.
Our rating system has gotten so strict over the years, and then like it just kind of fell apart in recent times.
Oh man,
it's like, what are you doing?
80s PG movies rocked. Those were some good fucking flicks.
Was Terminator PG?
Talking about the nudity.
Yeah.
Oh,
so like at the beginning, you know, when you come up under the water, the woman's skinny dipping in the original theater run and everything, you couldn't see anything. The water's too dark. But now if you like watch it on Amazon and stuff, with the way that remastering everything has caught up, she's completely exposed there.
Oh yeah, you can see nipples.
Yeah.
Hear that, kids?
Nipples.
Go check out Jaws.
It was a cold dip.
Well, so you can see that on some like Wild Wild West. You can see Will Smith's testicles now. Something you couldn't see originally. That we did.
Get your pen and paper out, kids. We're gonna give you some tips.
Don't you dare advertise it like that.
These are the PG movies with nudity.
Yeah,
Definitely don't.
You can see
these places.
Will Smith's balls in Wild Wild West. You can see Christy the swimmer's nipples in Jaws. Just ram down.
And it's just funny that when they were filming these originally, it's like, you never have to worry about it. But it's like,
oh yeah, you could go get you a Burger King Happy Meal toy of Wild Wild West, and all the time you can go to the theater and see Will Smith's balls.
Oh my god!
What a time to be alive. This is '90s, brother.
Did not endorse this.
They didn't, but boy, those sunglasses were popular, were they not?
Oh man, I had a set of those. Do you have the brown ones or the black ones? They had a brown pair for Chris Klein or whatever his name is, Calvin Klein, and then they had a black pair, Artemis. They had a black pair for Jim West.
I think I had a black pair.
I think everyone had a black pair. No one was like, "Oh, I want the Artemis pair." it was like
Gordon. Artemis Gordon.
Gordon, yeah. No one was going to Burger King wanting the Gordon glasses.
Give me them Gordon glasses.
Yeah, I'm sure those got dumped in a landfill with the extra ET tapes or cartridges. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's like the Gordon sunglasses Burger King landfill somewhere.
Yeah, but
get rid of them.
But now in hindsight, like, how much better does Kevin Kline look than Will Smith? Like, I mean,
wow,
Kevin Kline's a hell of an actor. It's a shame.
Yeah, he's definitely like established himself over the years. So Jaws, I mean, I don't think we need to break it down because this is one of those movies, obviously is made in 1976. And if you haven't seen it now, you need to go fucking see it. Like, what are you doing? Like, for real, if you have not seen Jaws, like, what bubble are you living in?
And why are you listening to us review it if you haven't seen it?
Exactly.
Fuck.
Exactly. But yeah, this movie, I mean, a lot of things it gets credited for mainly is, the first kill. Because at the time, it was very, very rare for a movie, considered to be a monster movie, which, at the time it was considered a monster movie. I think Jaws is even considered to be a universal monster in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. But, they don't reveal the monster until well into the movie. I mean, you don't see it until Brody's scooping the chum into the boat, like when they're already out to sea.
No, you do get to see him.
Oh yeah, you do get to see in the estuary. Yeah,
yeah, when he's in the pond and he bites.
Which is my favorite kill. That kill is nightmare fuel when he kills the estuary man.
Yeah, I don't know. Quince is pretty bad because it's so slow.
Quince is, but man, that imagery of that shark just below the surface.
Yeah, that is pretty
its mouth opening.
I thought the kid's death was pretty gruesome because you can see the kid coming up and like reaching out and then just like barreled back down under the water and like all the people running away from him and like you could see the water getting redder like that. To me, also, it's a kid.
If you go online, this just came out I think a couple of years ago. Someone actually found the still images of that. Because it was originally the shark was going to come out with the boy in its mouth. Like it was going to be a full-on attack. Like the shark comes out, hits him from the side, pulls him under, then comes out with him in its mouth. And you can find the black and white still photos of that.
Oh, cool.
And those just came out a few years back. I think someone just found them very recently.
You want them?
You can look them up online. I mean, they're pretty easy to find, but yeah, it's pretty horrific. It's like nightmare fuel. Like it's like, man, that would have been horrific to see, but they held it off because it was part of the whole, why show it now when we can wait till later and build tension. That was originally. So there's a lot of stuff that was kind of cut back on. I think it might have been the shark wasn't working properly at the time too.
There was a lot that they couldn't do because the shark just wasn't cooperating. I think Quint's death had to be rewritten, but they ended up liking that one better anyway. The Kittner, the kid's death was done differently because the shark wasn't working.
Yep.
The barrel scenes were done differently because the shark wasn't working. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it's all for that film's benefit.
Yes, absolutely. Like, we hear a lot of like horror stories now of like movies that are like, having crazy trouble and stuff behind the scenes, which, I think a lot of that, I don't let that stuff get to me too much because I know that, just from as much as I've loved Jaws and I've seen Jaws so many times, I know I've seen making ofs and I've read, the shark isn't working and stuff like that. That's something that's happened since the movie started getting made. But now it's, so much easier to hear about that kind of stuff. So I always kind of brush that off when I hear about a movie having like these crazy production issues and stuff, because there's a lot of movies that came out in the 80s and 90s that people love that had crazy fucking issues with casting and effects and budget. Now we just hear about them so much. There's like entire YouTube channels that cover it. There's Facebook and Twitter pages that cover it. There's entertainment news channels like on TV that cover it. Like,
yeah, but you get like ones like The Island of Dr. Monroe. That's a special case where like you had the director go crazy and just walk off into the island they were filming in.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Oh, he did. He was just no, I'm done, and he just like literally like stripped off his clothes, went nuts, just walked off into the fucking jungle.
Yeah, went and lived with the natives for a few weeks.
You know what? I can understand it though. In a way, I can understand.
Yeah, he was working with Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando at like the height of their height of their like assholery.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
It's crazy how Val Kilmer's kind of turned things around the last few years, where people like are like really endeared to him now. But in the 90s, he was like a nightmare to work with.
Well, it's because nobody not nobody. Obviously, there are people that enjoy it, but like most people don't enjoy even a person that's an asshole get their comeuppance in such a way to where there's. I don't want to say there's no hope because obviously, he's doing stuff and he's making his way and he's
fantastic in Top Gun, surprisingly.
Yeah, he did really good in the second Top Gun with what he's able to do. But I mean, like what the throat cancer and stuff, like he's down. Like he's down. Oh, yeah. His acting career is toast.
Yeah, he's pretty much done with that. I mean, he's doing a lot of like art stuff now. He's an artist, I think. And had that new documentary come out on Prime, Val.
I heard that was pretty good.
Yeah, people really go on about that.
Probably,
yeah.
Well,
I haven't seen it yet.
Get his, nobody wants to see an asshole become an un-asshole because of something like that.
Yeah.
That's too much.
He still popped up in things though. Like I was really happy to see him in Top Gun. He was in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot as the reboot version of Silent Bob. Which I thought was, because he can't talk. So
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So he was Silent Bob in like the rebooted movie and universe movie.
Good for him. I'm glad that he's able to make some fun out of it. Then.
Yeah, I was like, that's good casting.
That's fucking hilarious.
Is this the gentleman whose son was in Starship Troopers?
No, you're thinking Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
Oh, okay,
Gary Busey's got another. That'd be a really interesting documentary about Gary Busey about just because man, like he had so much promise and like that accident really took him out.
He's
like,
a phenomenal actor.
He is. He does a lot of really bad movies though.
Silver Bullet's fucking amazing. Like
Silver
Bullet's that's my favorite performance of his.
Yeah. I love it. I watched that very recently. I love that movie where he's like, damn it, don't you think? He's like, I think your brain's crippled too.
I know. Like he never
shit. Oh my god.
He never lets that kid off the hook.
No.
Which is what I love about him.
And there's some stuff even in Silver Bullet that it's like, you can't say that today. He can't say that today.
I guess you fucking can. Like, he needs to hear that kind of shit, goddammit.
But like the Busey boys, they can just do no wrong. The Busey boys are wonderful.
Jake Busey does some pretty bad shit. I don't know.
We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, he does some pretty bad movies.
He saves us from the arachnoids.
Yeah, he does some rough stuff. But I always like seeing him. He's like one of those actors I like to see pop up in things. Like, oh, it's Jake Busey. But there he is. He just doesn't really do much. Like he did the Predator movie for free, which
oh wow,
poor guy. I don't know why. That last Predator movie that came out, the Predator, right?
Oh, the one where they're going after kids with Asperger's.
Yeah, he did that movie for free. Yeah,
why?
To honor that role for his dad, because he plays Key's son in the movie. Like that's what his character is.
Who cares?
Key's son. Yeah, that's one of those hooks that got people into it though. That's one of those things that benefited the movie. People going to see it in the first place. Everyone's like, "Oh, this movie's really honoring the legacy." They got Jake Busey to play Gary Busey's son.
Speaking of honoring legacies, how does Jaws honor its legacies going on to
by Spielberg refusing to let there be a remake or a reboot. That's how they honor their legacy. Spielberg has said many times that he will never allow, as long as he's alive, which I know there's some executive at Universal just waiting the day after Spielberg dies.
Do we need him around?
Yeah, the day after Spielberg dies, Universal's going to announce the Jaws cinematic universe.
And Indiana Jones as well.
Yeah.
Then we have the same deal going on with Back to the Future. I think it's, is it Zemeckis?
Zemeckis, yeah, Zemeckis is pretty.
He's like, as long as I'm alive, there will never be a reboot of Back to the Future. So you know that they're just like swimming, waiting for him to pass.
Yeah, there's going to be like a mysterious accident where Zemeckis and Spielberg die together.
Listen, the only time I would even think to approve it is the creator of Aliens, the director of Aliens, Carpenter. I'm like, listen.
Oh, that wasn't Carpenter. That was
Cameron. Cameron, let it go. If you can hear me, James Cameron, go.
James Cameron does need this.
We need the actual.
James Cameron has like done nothing but like hurt that franchise in the last few years.
No. That's not That's not Cameron. That's fucking Scott. That's Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott. Sorry, Ridley Scott.
That's not Cameron. That's Ridley Scott pumping out that Prometheus bullshit.
Man, they fucking shot down Alien 5, which everyone was so excited for Alien 5, and he was like,
dude, that literally led to Sigourney Weaver saying that Ripley will never appear on screen again.
Yeah,
she was like, she was all signed on to do that. It was the sequel,
Michael Biehn was ready to go. Like there was promo art, everything.
Yeah,
everyone was talking about
played Nuke coming back.
Yep.
And what sucks is that was like. That getting so much attention was why Ridley Scott was like, "Hey, maybe I should do another Alien movie." There are people. He
got in. He's like, "Actually, it's boring. Nobody likes the xenomorph, so I'm going to do my own thing." It's like, "Fuck you, Ridley! You fucking hacking piece of shit!"
Like, it's not about you.
I used to Ridley Scott has done so many tremendously good movies, but you know what? He could never do another movie. From now on, I'd be fucking happy because he's so much lost the plot on what in the hell he's doing.
Alien Covenant was unwatchable.
I can't talk about it.
That movie was unwatchable. I was like optimistic about it. I was like, man, this look like the trailers made it look. I was like, this looks like an Alien movie. Like it didn't look like Prometheus. And you watch it's like, no, this is a lot worse. Because Prometheus, I didn't hate Prometheus. Didn't like it either. But I don't think it's anything compared to Covenant. Covenant was fucking awful.
Prometheus has the stupidest group of people that I've ever seen in any film ever. I have a hard time like explaining it to where people actually believe that I'm telling the truth. It's like there's a scene where these guys have balls, literal metal balls that float in the air and they travel down a hallway shooting red beams that map out the room, map out everything. They go down all the hallway mapping shit out. These are the map makers. They make the maps. They know how to read maps. They have map technology. Why am I saying maps so many times? Because we see them making the map. Then it cuts to one scene. We cut back to these fuckers and they're lost.
They made the map though.
It did make a good one.
How are you lost? You have all the equipment to make the maps. That's what you're hired for. You're maptologists. That's not even a word.
They skipped that.
Yeah, cartographer. But like, how in the fuck are you trying to sell me that these are like specialist scientists when the dudes that are making the map get lost? And like the whole movie is that stupid.
Yeah, the movie's bad.
I think we watched Covenant before we watched Prometheus, and I was like, after that, I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, like everything they did marketing Covenant was like they did it like this is an alien movie.
Oh no.
This is an alien movie. Then you watch it. It's like, what the fuck am I watching? Like,
no, I can't bring myself to do it because after I saw Covenant, I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you for doing that to Ripley.
They got that new one coming out on Hulu here soon.
You're thinking of Resurrection.
Oh, yeah, Resurrection.
I never bothered with the Prometheus or Covenant. I have no desire whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay, this makes more sense now.
Resurrection, I don't mind Resurrection. Resurrection's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's fun.
It's not a fun movie. It's fun. Everybody, it's not fun.
They're fun characters. Yeah, I liked it. It was like a comic book movie. I liked it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you found joy in it.
It's not the best one in the series or anything like that, but I enjoy it. I don't hate the first 4 Alien movies. I just don't necessarily like 3 or 4, but I don't hate them. I can watch 3 and Resurrection, but
I can watch 3. It's a downer, but I can watch it.
Yeah. I mean, 3's pretty bad. I have like the quadrilogy like Blu-ray set that came out. It's got like 2 discs per movie, and like 3 has a whole disc, has a whole Blu-ray about the original like concepts for number 3. Like they have like full hour documentaries for each of these directors who talk about like there was so many. There was like every idea they had for 3 was better than the one they actually shot. Well, like the third one went into production without a script. Like it was just like, here's sets, here's characters, like all these actors, like they signed on for completely different roles. Like, and then just as they were making, like, all right, now you're a penal colony, now you're prisoners. You know, they signed on to be completely different things. Michael Biehn like was signed on, good to go. Then like they're like, oh, actually, we don't need you. Yeah,
that movie so bad.
Yeah, he got paid. He got paid for that movie though, because they show his character dead and he sued him, so they had to pay him.
That's good.
Yeah, they show.
I actually think Jaws handled its sequels a little bit better
except for 3. 3, I think is bad. I don't. People shit on 4 a lot.
Oh,
I don't hate 4. I like 4 better than I do 3 because 3 was just. It was so gimmicky. It's getting, but it isn't as bad as people say. I will say, I don't think the Jaws sequels are
the one
as bad
that's in
as they say.
SeaWorld.
The one that's in SeaWorld, and you got some pretty good characters. You have like the shark hunter, and he's pretty fun. Even though he dies like a half hour before the end of the movie. The shark eats like 3 people in between then. But somehow at the end, his body is still in the shark's mouth with a grenade that they used to kill the killer.
Yeah.
Like it shows him eat multiple people in between them, but somehow he's just saving. Yeah, he's just saving that guy on the side with the grenade still clutched in his hand the whole time. So that way the guy can pull the grenade and kill the shark that way. And then at the end, the 3D gimmick is that the shark explodes. And its 2 jaw bones float the screen and clamp together because Jaws.
Jaws.
Because it's Jaws. It's Jaws. Yeah, it had 2 jaws.
I would still rather watch Jaws 3 than Alien Resurrection.
I don't know about that.
Oh man, there was one.
So. I have a lot of fun with 4. I don't know. I have a lot of fun with 4. It's cheesy. 3 Jaws 3 I think took itself a little too serious, but it didn't lean into stuff either. Like, I don't know. You think of like a shark inside of like a SeaWorld park, and there's so much cool shit you can do with that.
Yeah, but they didn't have the money to go crazy.
Yeah. Now the original idea for 3. So the original concept for 3 was going to be titled Jaws 3 People Zero. And it was going to be produced by National Lampoon.
Oh.
And it was going to be a parody of the Jaws franchise.
I would have loved it.
Where they're making a Jaws 3, and all of a sudden, all the people that are involved start getting killed by sharks in precarious places. You know, Peter Benchley he's the first kill. He's a billionaire in the movie because he's basically like made a bunch of money off the Jaws franchise. He's like an asshole. And he gets killed in his pool, his $1 million swimming pool.
Oh my God.
I think one of the actors, I don't know who, so I don't know what to say their name. One of the actors gets killed in the toilet. Someone's going to get killed in the bathtub. And it was going to be like this shark trying to stop the making of Jaws 3. It was going to be a National Lampoon film.
That shark had a lot of really tight pipes.
The script's online. The script's online. I think the script is hilarious. I've read the script because Evan makes me all the time. I in my free time I just read scripts of movies that didn't get made. And there's a website I go on. It's called Script Graveyard, where it's just all these scripts. And I'll just do that. I'll just read screenplays. I read script for Jaws 3 People Zero, and I think it's hilarious. It's a fun movie. There's a bunch of at the climax, a bunch of people having like a party on a yacht, and the shark terrorizes the yacht and kills them all. And it's a fun movie. It could have been a fun movie, but Spielberg put a stop to that.
Thank you, Steven.
Which he does that a lot. He does that a lot. He's very protective over this franchise. Where he kind of has Universal by the balls because he makes Universal a lot of fucking money. So that's always been his chip is if you make this, I'll not make another movie for you ever again. That's his thing. Yeah. In the early 2000s, 2004, 5-ish, a big thing, and it's still kind of a thing today, but not as prevalent. A big thing was straight to video sequels to movies. Right. You'd see you go to the video store and all of a sudden, there's a 5th Sniper movie out.
Oh my God.
The franchise is still going on. There's a new one caught this year. I have a cousin of mine.
Turned into a franchise.
I have a cousin of mine who gets everyone. They're all bad. Really? I don't know why. He just gets everyone. I don't know.
He's committed now.
I mean, the first one was a good movie. The first Sniper.
First one's a good movie. It's a decent movie. I mean, it's a decent movie. It's not even as far as action movies go, I don't think it's amazing, but it's a decent movie. It's a watchable flick.
It's not really meant to be an action film.
Yeah, it's not.
It is somewhat.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what suffers a little bit. Why it suffered so much and I can't say it suffered because it's got a fucking franchise out of it.
Oh no, trust me. Just because something limps and lingers on doesn't mean that it's not suffering. It just means it's not dead.
I know. I talked to one of my buddies. I remember years ago, back in the day, me and Ursa had a YouTube channel where we talked about we did movie reviews. And I remember talking about Bubba Hotep. doesn't have a sequel. Beetlejuice doesn't have a sequel. Something else. These great movies don't have sequels. Fucking Children of the Corn has like 7 sequels, and not even the first one was good. Like, how the fuck they keep making those goddamn movies?
Oh my gosh, it's because people.
The first one's shitty. The first one's shit. The first movie is people like they can't even defend that movie. You can't be like, well, it's a classic. Watch that movie. You tell me it's a fucking classic.
Children of the Corn is a rite of passage, meaning nobody wants to do it, but you kind of feel obligated to. Like, and
it's a rough obligation.
It really is. Like, and like, I did not like. I think it took me 2 or 3 tries to get through that movie all the way, just because it is just so dry
and no payoff at the end.
Oh my god, no, absolutely not. Like, I did not. Like, yes, it is one of those ones where, like, yes, you should watch it. Like, it is in some way a horror classic, but you gonna watch it one time.
Yeah, but in like the mid 2000s, like 2004 or 5ish, they were actually like Universal was going to make straight to video sequels to Jaws. That was like their plan, was to license it as straight to video, just Jaws movies.
It kind of reminds me of straight to streaming. Like we didn't have streaming back in 2004 or 5. I mean, I was thinking like same concept.
Yeah, it's same concept. I think straight to streaming movies have way bigger budgets now than what the shit we had on DVD back in the day.
But do they still get like the same like cut and profit that I'm imagining that they do from like not having a box office premiere?
I have no idea. I imagine back in like that day, back in the day, it was like rentals. That was a big thing. That was why they did it. Yeah,
you're right. Actually, yeah, you're right.
Big thing. So it was kind of like probably the same concept. Now it's streaming things where you stream that movie. Whereas back in the day, it was like you go to the video store and you rent whatever fucking movie from the 80s. All of a sudden, it has a part 2.
I'm so glad Ben had to take like a step out of here, because he would look at me and be like, Bailey, rentals. Remember movie rental places like Blockbuster, Hollywood Films?
But the plan was 04, 05-ish. There was like a lot of talks about Universal using the Jaws name for straight to video movies. And once again, Spielberg stepped in, shut that stuff down. At one point, it was announced there was going to be a Jaws sequel, a remake. There was a Jaws remake announced by Universal. It happened very quick. It didn't last long. But the name attached to that, can you guess what actor was attached to that? I'll give you 3 guesses because you're not going to get it.
If it's Bruce Campbell, I'm
no. I would.
Zach Galifianakis.
No.
Kurt Russell.
No. Tracy Morgan.
No way.
Was attached to play Matt Hooper.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
It's fun.
It could be fun. Yeah.
That could be fun. That's a different take on Hooper.
It would be a very different take. It's like the Matt Hooper that all of a sudden, like, he'd have like a rubber chicken he'd pull out, like, hey man, look at this rubber chicken. Like he'd be doing that kind of stuff, or a lot of like, I ain't going in the water, that kind of stuff. Like
nah.
But you study sharks, man. I ain't going in the water. Like that'd be like the shtick, because like I'm afraid of the water. I'm not going in there.
The guy, he didn't go in the water. He couldn't swim, but he worked underwater.
Yeah, but he didn't go in the water.
Yeah. In the Meg they did.
Well, he did like involuntarily.
Oh well, yeah.
But he wasn't like, hey, I'm going swimming. Like he got kind of forced into the water by a 60-foot shark.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah,
choice given in the matter.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was some of the stuff that was kind of kicked around. It's like early 2000s, there was a lot of that. Many people have like pitched the idea, like Kevin Smith. He pitched at one point Jaws and like a flooded town that gets, like, Amityville gets hit by a hurricane, and maybe it's Deep Blue Sea. That's like, it'd be Deep Blue Sea, but basically like in a town, which I don't think would be that fun. Because then you have like multiple sharks, and that was the thing about Jaws, is he's one shark. What's that?
They made a movie like that with like alligators.
Yes, they did. Yeah, Crawl,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a hurricane.
I've started that movie many a times, liked it, for whatever reason, never finished. I don't know why. Every time I watch it, I'm like, this is a good movie. And for whatever reason, I don't finish it. I've yet to see the ending of it. And it's like, not even that I don't like the movie. Every time I watch it, I enjoy it, but just something happens where I have yet to finish it.
I need to watch it. That's like the second or third time Crawl has popped up in one of our.
It's free on Prime.
Claustrophobic.
Oh really?
It's a tight movie.
I don't like that.
It's produced by Sam Raimi.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. Mm-hmm. One of our Raimi fellows.
Yep. Bruce Campbell plays the alligator.
Shut up. Alligator must have a lot of screen time.
That's the twist. At the end.
He shows up wearing Crocs.
Yeah.
Alligator scaled Crocs.
But yeah, so there's oftentimes been like the idea of like a Jaws remake, but it's never happened. It's like shark movies in theaters are very rare. Shark movies themselves, not so much. Shark movies themselves are a dime a dozen. There are 1 million shark movies a year. I get suckered into watching a couple dozen a year. I hate whenever it's like I instantly have regret every time I do it. It's like I'll see a movie on Prime and it has a shark on it, and I'll pay $2.99 to watch it. And it's like immediately after I pay for it, I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I do this? And then I'll watch it. I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? And then like a week later, it's on Tubi for free.
The cycle continues.
Yeah, then like cycle continue. I can't even. I will not. I don't feel comfortable admitting the number of times that I fell for that, but it happens more so than you would estimate that shark movies get me. Recently, Black Demon got me. I saw the trailer of that.
That one looked like it actually might have some promise.
That's the problem. That's the problem. They all look promising. Evan wouldn't go see it. I had to go see it myself. I had to go find a theater 45 minutes out of the city. Had to drive 45 minutes out of the city to some theater in the middle of nowhere to watch it.
Oh my gosh.
Paid my $10.99 or whatever to watch it. I was the only one in the theater to see it. And watched it. And I was like, man, why did I do that?
Why did I do this?
They got me again. God damn it. They got me again.
Damn it. Hook, line, and sinker.
That's my kryptonite. That's my kryptonite is shark movies. Because every now and then, I told Evan this. Evan's like, you watch these all the time and you always say they're bad. It's like, he hears me bitch every time I do it. I'm like, God damn it, I wasted $3 on this fucking shark movie.
Aww.
But I'm always chasing that, that Sharknado 2 or that Bait 3D. What's that?
How are the Sharknadoes? I haven't gotten
fantastic. I have to get past the first one. Skip the first one. The 5 out of the 6 are really good.
All right.
That's my rating on those.
They just got
nearly. It's almost the perfect film franchise, except for that first movie. So
I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. It's been a long time since I've watched any of the Sharknadoes, but I even remember like being not as inclined.
Because you probably watched the first one. Everyone skipped the first Sharknado movie.
The first one. The first one was like establishing.
What? Oh,
you have to establish your universe because, like, it's a
Sharknado movie. What universe? What are you trying to establish?
And what is a Sharknado? And who are your main people? And like all that good stuff. So I don't know.
You can skip the first movie. Skip the first movie. The second movie is fantastic. Third's all right. It kind of goes down from there, but the second one peak. The last movie is really good. I liked it a lot. You can tell they put a lot of budget into that one. You send off the franchise in a big way.
Yeah, because they had to pay for Kim Kardashian to be on there and all kinds of other.
Yeah, the cameos are that's the funnest part about Sharknado movies. Every character, every role is a character, is like an actor, a celebrity that's cameoing.
Popping the Sharknado.
Yep, because everyone wanted to be part of Sharknado. Sharknado was huge.
It blew up.
It is, yeah. It's insane. But yeah, that was. I'm always chasing because every now and then you find a good one, but none of them live up to Jaws. Jaws is the end all be all shark movies. I hate seeing like on YouTube you'll see like 10 best shark movies. Spoiler: it's always Deep Blue Sea, Jaws. That's always the way it's going to go. Is every time you watch them, they're going to list the 4 Jaws movies. Mm-hmm. They're going to list Deep Blue Sea. They're going to list probably the Meg now because it went to theaters. They'll probably mention The Shallows, which I think The Shallows is probably the best non-Jaws shark movie.
I haven't seen The Shallows.
Shallows is I think without a doubt the best non-Jaws shark movie.
Oh, very nice. What did you think of 47 Meters Down? Because they have a sequel.
Pretty boring.
Really?
I didn't like that or the sequel.
I quite enjoyed them. No. I thought it was.
I went. That's another one I got tricked into going to see in theaters.
Oh, really?
Anytime a shark movie comes to theaters, I go see it. Like if a shark movie comes to theaters, I've seen it. I got to because I'm always thinking like, well, I watched a bunch of bad ones on Prime. this one with the theaters. So it's got to be better than that. It's got to be. There's a reason behind that.
Oh my gosh. It's like the opposite of your Mario Brothers collection. Like one year, like, I hope it brings me joy. And then sometimes it doesn't. But when you buy a Mario Brothers.
That's always a little dopamine rush for me anytime. Seeing a Super Mario Bros. DVD in the wild just gets me a little buzz. I don't know.
So excited.
That gives me a little kick. Man, I'm not even joking. The one time me and Evan were at Walmart and I cruised by the $5 bin. No, it was a $3.75 bin. I cruised by a $3.75 bin. There was a Mario Brothers movie. I was like, he was like, you don't need them. I was like, but I do. They're there. I ended up buying it. I was like, when else am I gonna get a chance to buy one in the wild?
In the wild.
Like I found it in the wild. So like he was, he had talked me down for buying. So I was like, I'll buy 3. That's like an even $10. That's like, it's like a little, just around $10 range. Like that's good. I can stop there.
Oh
but,
my gosh.
A little dopamine rush every now and then. You need a little.
Those are always
whatever gets you high. Some people.
There's worse things.
Yeah. For me, it's Mario Brothers DVDs. I'm always chasing that variant cover. Got to find that variant cover. Now my collection will be complete. Mm-hmm. So, but man, Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws.
There's sharks.
There's sharks in Jaws. There's a shark in Jaws, which is one of my biggest pet peeves with this movie. Not even like I don't like. I love the shark in Jaws. What I hate is people that try to cash in on Jaws. When I go to like art fairs or you see people making shitty shirts on Redbubble and they use a stock image of a great white, because Jaws, no matter what you say, Jaws is not a great white shark.
No.
That shark it's a different breed. There's a very interesting video you can watch on YouTube of a guy, he talks about Jaws being a megalodon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is like a theory a lot of people have, because Jaws is not a great white. It does not look like a great white. It does not behave like a great white. It has the jowls, which that is my biggest thing about Jaws. The jowls. You can see it on there. It's got, it's part of the mechanics of the shark, but it gives it that personality. There's no other shark that has those jowls on it. And that's something I look for every time anyone puts out Jaws merchandise. If it doesn't have the jowls on it, it's just a shitty imitation, cheap great white thing.
Yeah, and they even point out like a lot throughout the Jaws movie, like Jaws does not behave like a great white. What's the most frightening part in it is when Quint and Hooper look at each other and are like, great whites don't behave like this. And these are two experienced men who are like, we haven't seen this before. So yeah, as soon as I heard like Jaws may be a megalodon, I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I've seen on like forums and stuff, because like I said, I'm part of a lot of Jaws fan groups and Reddits and shit like that. And there's supposedly like a interview at some point Spielberg did in like the 70s where he says the Jaws is a megalodon, where he says it's a megalodon. Ooh. And I've never found it. I've seen it referenced a couple times, because it's like a conversation gets brought up a lot on Reddit or in the forums I'm in, or someone will bring it up and someone will always reference that. They're like, oh, but I can't find it, but I swear I've seen it, but it's like one of those things I cannot find anywhere, but people claim it might not be like a real thing. Maybe it's one of those like internet urban legend things, or someone like claims they've seen it and someone else is like, well, I think I remember seeing that. But yeah, that's like a long-standing theory, is that Jaws is a megalodon.
I'm here for it, to be honest with you.
Like I said, there's a great video you can find on YouTube. I'll send you a link. This guy does a 2-parter where he talks about, Jaws being maybe like a megalodon pup or something like that,
yeah.
And like how Jaws 2 makes sense. Like maybe there's like a breeding population off the coast. That's why exactly a year later there's another one. Like, that being a thing.
Interesting.
Jaws. I know we keep calling him Jaws. That's not the name of the shark. The shark is Bruce.
My name's Bruce.
Bruce. Yeah, named after Spielberg's lawyer.
No way.
He got that
Is
name.
That for real?
Yeah, that's where he got the name. He named after his lawyer.
I love it.
Said his lawyer was a shark.
I love it.
So yeah, that's why I do my Bruce shelf. I have a little Jaws on there just because I was like, it counts. So I put Jaws on my Bruce shelf. That's a Bruce.
Yeah.
Some of the things I think you can highlight, I guess, what would be, I guess, if you had to say, what is your top 3 Jaws moments, or your top 3 favorite things about Jaws? Ben, what would be your top 3 things about Jaws you like?
The first one, it would have to be the entire scene of them I'll sacrifice all three for one because all three of my moments take place in like one real scene, and that's when they're down in the orca and they're drinking. Right there's
fantastic
scene where that whole time they're down there when they're comparing scars, when they're singing, and when Quint tells his Indianapolis story. That is just all three of those actors just completely nail every second that they're together in those scenes, and I could watch that segment all the time.
Oh yeah.
So that would be mine.
What about you, Bailey?
Like the top one?
Top three. Yeah, what are your top three?
Top three. Probably number 3 when the mom comes up and slaps Brody across the face.
And she actually hit him too because she couldn't fake it. So she actually slapped him so hard she knocked his glasses off.
Oof. Yeah. And the whole time, me, along with I'm sure many others, are going, you should be slapping the mayor. It's not his fault. I mean, yeah. Second, probably when Hooper enters in and I was like, you're all gonna die. Like just like at the bed, like, oh my god, you guys are gonna
you have to love like his little witticisms.
So about that scene there with the the Kittner mom slapping Brody. So in the novelization of Jaws the Revenge, not the movie, the novelization.
It's a novelization of Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah, that was a big thing back in the day. I think it's still a thing where like anytime a movie came out, it was like a novelization. Never occurred to me that
they would actually do a novelization of Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah, there's a novelization of all the Jaws except for the third one. There's a Jaws 2 novel and a Jaws 3.
Like Jaws is like the official timeline, isn't it? 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 4 is like the official timeline, and 3 is like kind of like a bastard sequel or something. They kind of like not really considered to be canon, which I don't think 4 is favorably canon either. But they're both written by the same author. Hank Searles is his name. But in the novelization of Jaws Revenge, the reason behind the shark constantly being a pain in the ass to the Brody family is because the Kittner woman was a voodoo witch who put a curse, or I think maybe paid a voodoo witch to put on
a voodoo witch. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what they look like.
See, I'm telling you, y'all just every time something goes bad, y'all just come for us. Like we did. We ain't got time for you. Like, first of all, we are trying to manifest positive energy and put that out into the universe. We don't have time for this. Come on, no. I'm sorry.
I guess like she was actually paying, or like maybe had hired a voodoo priest to do this. There's apparently in the original script for Jaws Revenge, the main villain was a man by the name of Papa Jacques. And he was a Haitian witch doctor who was controlling the shark. Because the Kittner lady wanted to get revenge on the Brodies because they let her boy die.
Aww.
So that was kind of the implication of why the Brody family is constantly getting attacked by sharks.
Oh my god!
Which would be a pretty big problem. I mean, if your family is getting attacked by a shark once, I mean, it's like, damn, that sucks. Like 2 times, you're like, what the fuck's going on? Like, but a 3rd time, it's like, there's something going on here.
This time, I'm moving to Kansas.
Yeah, it's like yeah, we should, I think we should move somewhere inland. Let's go to let's go to Colorado. Let's go get a little further away from these sharks. Yeah,
should live by the water.
Move into the desert.
Yeah, top Jaws moment is definitely the smile, you son of a bitch. Like that. Yeah. That's funny. Out of all the times I'd watched it, I didn't realize until like a very recent time that he's actually saying smile, because all I ever heard was you son of a bitch, and then he shoots. So yeah, that's mine. What about you, Jerry?
Decent. That scene where Brody is chumming the water right behind the boat, and then the shark comes out and he just whips his head up. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
You get a sense of the size of the shark at that point, and you can feel that fear.
And the look on his face when he kind of just like whips up.
Yeah, he's like stunned.
He sells that very well.
Yeah, and he like backs up and he's like, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." And it's classic for a reason.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just a fantastic line.
And
that is iconic. It's an iconic line. You're going to need a bigger boat, which people often misquote as "we're going to need a bigger boat."
Nope.
It's always
and it was improv too. Yeah, it was not what was originally scripted.
Yeah. And then there's the scene where his wife is like walking away, like sort of dramatically, and she throws her hands up. Does like a weird little trot run.
Yeah. I think that's when she meets Quint and he's on the boat and saying all the really nasty shit.
He's saying that like virginity limerick he's saying or something.
Here lies the body of Andrew Lee.
She's like, my husband is with idiots and he's not coming back.
I mean, he could have toasted her to swimming with bow-legged women like he did the other gentleman. So I mean,
swimming with bow-legged women.
It's fantastic.
And number 3.
Let's go with that when Quint is introduced and he's like screeching on the chalkboard.
Oh man.
Everyone's attention.
Really iconic.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
that's a great one.
I'm gonna have to add an addendum to the scene where Sean, Brody's son, is imitating him at the dinner table.
Oh yeah,
that's a very sweet moment.
That's beautiful.
That is a really sweet one. And that's often like considered to be like one of the most heartwarming moments of the franchise.
It should be.
They try to recreate that in Jaws: The Revenge. The Brody and his daughter have a similar thing. They even like overlay it. I think if I remember right, they overlay it with the scene from the original.
Yeah,
because that scene was totally improv, right? Like the kid just was copying him.
Yeah, they noticed that the child was imitating the actor that plays Brody. I can't think of his name.
Right.
And and they just kept rolling, and he was just playing with the kid, and the kid ended up playing back.
It's beautiful. I love that. Ty, what about you? Top 3.
So one of my favorite scenes is where they roll up on poor Ben Gardner's boat out in the middle of the water. That scene is terrifying.
Yeah.
It gets every time. It just gets you on the edge of your seat.
You're yelling at Hooper, calling him stupid for even doing this. You're like, why are you doing this? What is the reason for you doing this?
Pitch black, middle of the ocean. There's a killer shark out. Here's a boat that's very ominous.
It's got a flashlight and a knife.
It is also like one of the scenes where it's like, what actually happened there? It's like it doesn't so we find poor Ben Gardner, who doesn't look a whole lot like Ben Gardner
anymore.
It's really weird. Like he doesn't have his mustache, which that's one of the things Ben Gardner has, the little mustache and chops. The head doesn't have that on it. It doesn't look a lot like Ben Gardner. But we're led to believe it as Ben Gardner. But we get to the boat, and it's got a hole in it, which you can imagine. Bruce probably ran his nose up through the
he did it
through the boat. Yep, ran his nose through there. Which you see, I think, previously. Yeah, you see a kind of foreshadowing with that in the book that Brody's reading when he had that shark book. They like stop and focus on that scene on that picture.
His wife sees the painting.
Yeah, because the boys are out in the sailboat and she's the painting of the shark ramming its nose through the little boat. But so you'd assume Bruce rammed his nose through the boat. The boat doesn't sink though, which is another thing. It's kind of lists in the water. But then we find Ben Gardner, who is his severed head, like what's like his upper torso, and his eye is missing. So it's like what exactly happened? It's like his eye missing is one of those things where it's horrifying to see, but it's like did Bruce like suck his eye out?
No, I mean I can see like if it bit down on Gardner and was like biting him in half and it started to thrash. Shake its head from side to side. If it whacks his head off the side off something, like say it rams and it's half inside the boat, it grabs a hold of him and starts thrashing. It could either thrash him enough to wrench one of his eyes out, or he could have possibly smacked it off something on the inside of the ship or the boat. It's not a ship, it's a boat, while he's being eaten. Yeah. So it can happen. Is it likely? No. But neither is running into a baby megalodon and getting your ship sunk.
Yep. Another one of my favorite scenes, you guys didn't mention yet, would be the chaos of the shark hunt when all the local fishermen are out hunting sharks and just shooting blindly in the water and running their boats into each other.
Dynamite.
One of them has a dog sitting on the front of the boat that's just like, why am I here?
Poor dog's like gleaming for life.
Yeah.
That is the saddest one, is the doggo. Like that doggo doesn't need to be
Pippet.
there.
Yeah, Pippet.
Doesn't need to be there.
Pippet. Like there's I remember like seeing, maybe it was like it's in the 70s and stuff when a movie had come out that still today too. And they would do like big promotional tie-ins and stuff. And like one of the big things in the 70s was like puzzles. You get you a little 500 piece puzzle or whatever with the movie on it. But I know there's like a puzzle I see all the time in the Facebook groups I'm part of, where it was like supposed to be a still from the movie, where it was like that's like the boat chaos is going on, but there's like Bruce is in the middle of it. Like it's kind of like Photoshop that Bruce is like there as this chaos is going on. So people always are like, oh, it's like a cut scene, but like if you look at it, it's like it's a really weird like Photoshop job of like they did it for like a promotional thing of like, look at all this crazy stuff that happens. There's 6 boats trying to attack this shark, but that gets brought up a lot. People always bring it up on Facebook. So they'll find it. It'll show up on eBay sometimes. People will be like, "Did you see this? Is this a real thing or whatever?" My third favorite thing, man, have to be when Quint has finally snapped, because Quint does snap in this movie. He's a shark hunter. He's never camped against something he can't kill. Yeah, he's finally found something that he can't kill, and it's when he is fucking losing it, and he's got the barrels. The shark's following him. I think they may have it hooked at that point, and the boat is fucking smoke's rolling out of the engine. It's taking on water. Like he's like he's just aloof to it all. He refuses to believe he's being defeated. So he's barreling on. Hooper's trying to tell him to stop, and he smacks him away. And you see the insanity in his eyes. He starts like singing to himself as like everything is falling apart around him. Yeah, everything is just falling apart around him. They keep cutting back to the cabin of the ship where water and smoke and fire is just rolling out of the under compartment, and it's just so chaotic. I love that scene. But yeah, that would definitely be my top 3 scenes in that movie, because it's hard to narrow down because I just love every bit of this movie. I mean, obviously I have it tattooed on me. I mean,
that's exactly what I started thinking when you were saying when you first watched this movie. It was terrifying. I'm like, well, now you have a tattoo of Jaws coming up out of the water.
It's my favorite movie. Yeah, favorite movie.
There's not a bad speck in it.
No, it's very hard to find a flaw in it.
Yeah.
Is there anything you come up with that you don't like about it? Anyone have any negativity they can pull out of this movie? Anything they can find to maybe critique?
And it's too easy to take a shot at the way the shark looks. That's too easy.
Yeah, no. Anything to do with like the effects of it, like. Of course, we're going to see better effects today.
Not so much.
Sometimes.
You and MODOK.
Honestly, no. Like, truly, no. Because thinking back on it now, I'm like, I can't even pull anything from the story out of it, because like the story goes so concisely and everything is like, I guess like the only thing you could pull from is like, we don't see them make it onto the beach. But even then, it's like, you see
you do at the end. You do at the end.
Yeah, they show it very.
As the credits roll on, you see him come up on the beach.
Okay. So yeah, really nothing. No, like it's beautiful, nice, neat, wonderful, love it.
Yeah, I don't know what I would complain about it.
It's hard. It's like it's such a. I hate to use the word perfect movie because that's opening up. I just want to be like, hey, what the fuck you about this thing? But it's such a good movie. I mean. The one thing I can say is, Ben Gardner's face, like whatever they used as the mannequin, did not. I don't know if there was maybe a discrepancy in casting or whatever, but that is not his head that's in that boat. It's not Ben Gardner in there.
Maybe if I had to pick one, it was the mayor's lines where he's like, Martin, my kids were on that beach too. When it's very clearly that Martin's not the one losing his shit, it's the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe either Martin should have been delivering his lines at a little bit more of a frantic pace, or he should have had some response to him saying that. Like, if he'd looked at me and be like, my kids were on that beach too, and I'd looked at him and be like, yeah, no shit. like that's supposed to, am I supposed to feel sorry for you now, motherfucker? Like, I
feel like that was him kind of going through shock.
Yeah, that's when the mayor breaks.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I'm struggling to find something that I would complain about, but just the fact that he said that and Martin was like, yeah, that's a good point. I'm like, no, fuck you, man. Yeah. Like, you're finally experiencing what everybody else did, because it was Martin's kid before.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
guess if I tag another thing on this movie too, like favorite moment, my favorite kill of this movie is the estuary man.
Yeah, that's a good
he dies. I love that imagery so goddamn much. That shark just right under the water. Yeah, with its mouth agape, getting him. Now that scene was actually cut short. It was supposed to take. So what was supposed to happen? The shark was supposed to get the estuary man, drags him under. You assume he's getting eaten. Martin's son is, paralyzed by fear in the water. Well, the estuary man rises from the water, with the dorsal fin behind him, and he's coming at the Brody kid. And the estuary man reaches out and grabs the Brody kid, and as he's being pulled underwater, he lets the kid, pushes the kid away. Was supposed to be but it was deemed too I think it was too intense, I think what they said, or it was too violent. He was just have blood spewing from his mouth, and he grabs this kid, and he's got him, and he pushes him out of the way of the shark. But yeah, that was supposed to be that was the extended portion of that scene.
That's probably disappointing for that guy, not have his scene shown.
He got a pretty good death out of it, though. He got a pretty good death.
Yeah.
One of my friends vacations in Martha's Vineyard every year, and he always sends me a picture of the pond, the estuary there, because it's still there and has a little plaque on it and stuff. He always sends me a picture when he's there because he knows I love Jaws. But yeah, his family vacations there every year. But yeah, he got a pretty iconic death out of it. So can't be too upset.
No, that's a good one. Oof. He's in such a tiny little boat too. That little.
Oh, I know. Poor guy.
What the hell are you doing with that thing, man?
He's just out there having a little boat, little cruise.
Yeah, because he was in that scene earlier with the other Boy Scouts, I think.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so that was.
It's like being in an Aston. It's like being in a not an Aston Martin. It's like being in a Mini Cooper when the semi truck guy decides to go nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no hope for you.
It's an itty bitty boat.
He can eat you and the fucking boat.
Let's before we wrap up, let's talk about the death of the shark. That's the finale of the movie. The iconic explosive conclusion, which as much as this movie is defines the summer blockbuster, that also became a staple of the summer blockbuster, is the explosive finale. So in the book, Ben, you read as well, the shark just kind of dies in the book.
It's like charging at. It's like almost the exact same setup as the end, only right as it's getting to him, it just kind of stops and then just gently rolls over onto its side, and then everybody's pissed.
Yeah,
dies from its wounds.
Yeah, it just kind of bleeds to death.
Yeah, because in the book, he gets shot, harpooned, and all kinds of shit. And yeah, at the end, it's ready to attack, and it just goes belly up.
Oh my God! That was the sourest bite of the whole thing. You're just like, man, you want to throw the book down, and be like, fuck this book, but there's 4 pages left.
Yeah, it's.
Oh my God, I was so fucking mad.
It's a weak ending. So they definitely. I think I read that Spielberg estimated there are a total of 23 scenes in the movie that are not anywhere close to what they are in the book, or even included anywhere near what's included in the books. There's a total of 23 scenes.
Thank God.
that were created originally for the film. Which
I put this right up there with Jurassic Park as far as the book and movie. So
yeah, Spielberg does have a talent of doing that, taking these things and making them into something more than what. But it's disappointing too. It's Jurassic Park's another one that in high school, I found it at the school library. It was Jurassic Park, hell yeah, I'll read this. And then you start reading, it's what the fuck is going on? John Hammond's an asshole, and it's
the lawyer's this buff blonde guy who kills a velociraptor with a shovel.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
You're like, what?
There's fucking dinosaurs everywhere. It's they're on the island, but then there's also a whole subplot of them being on the mainland and killing babies and shit, and it's more of a horror novel.
Yeah, but then he goes off on the science for 6 chapters, and you're just oh my God.
Yeah,
anything that I care
that's the Crichton.
In the movie, they condensed it all nicely with that computer little animated guy.
Mr. DNA. Dino DNA. Yeah.
But they did in 2 minutes what it took him 6 chapters to cover.
Oh my!
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing they didn't, or else we end up something like Bone Tomahawk, where it's a novel as a movie.
Oh yeah, I know people really like that movie, and it was fine, but it wasn't all that.
No, but Jurassic Park, I remember the first time reading it being so jarred. How different it is, because it's John Hammond. That's the main thing that sticks out is in the book he's just a the biggest asshole in the world. He is night and day.
He completely loses it
and
tries to kill people.
Gets eaten by a bunch of compies at the end. It's weird. It's definitely like crazy how they were able to take that book and like make it into what it is. And the same with Jaws, because if you read the book Jaws, you're rooting for the shark the whole time because you just want to see these people get killed.
Apparently, that's what Steven Spielberg said. Jerry, you were telling me that?
Yeah. Apparently, he was like, I hate all these people in this book.
We're awful.
Things, and he was like, I'm rooting for the shark. So I was too. That for the movie.
Yeah.
That was definitely bad. But like the ending of this movie, obviously the big explosion. They shove a air tank into the shark's mouth as it's charging. Brody gets off his one-liner. Bailey said it earlier. Smile, you son of a explosion. And we get a cool little Easter egg. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but so we have the roar. The shark roars as it's dying. And the roar that's used is from the movie Duel.
Is it really?
Yeah, as the the ending of Duel is much like the ending of Tremors, where like the guy gets out of his car and he eggs on the fucking truck driver, jumps out of the way, and the truck goes off a mountainside. And as the truck is going off the mountainside, it that groans as it's going off there, and that's the sound they use for the shark as it's sinking to the bottom of the ocean.
It's better than the roar they used in Jaws: The Revenge.
Oh God, yeah, that shark actually fucking roared. Like it actually roared.
It actually jumps out of the water, and goes like,
yeah, it actually roars. It's wild. So wild. Oh God, the ending the movie has two endings. Jaws Revenge has two endings, and both endings are equally as bad. It's wild. They were like, well, this ending's bad, let's reshoot it. And then they made an ending just as bad. It's just wild to me. They took the time to do it. Like they didn't even take the time. If you ever watch, I have it on DVD. I have the Jaws DVD where it has both endings. Like the reshot ending of the fucking shark. It gets like it jumps out of the water roaring, gets impaled by the front of a boat, and then explodes for no reason. It gets impaled and then explodes, and it's like not even like cleverly done. It's a miniature shark, like it's a toy shark, and like you can tell it's a toy shark. It's not like they used some trickery or like made it look good. It's a toy shark they put a firecracker and blow up. The ending of this $1 million film franchise is this fucking popsicle shark getting exploded with a firecracker. It's bad, but so fun at the same time. But so Peter Benchley, obviously the writer of Jaws, for what we say about the novel, he actually in the years following this would have tremendous guilt over the popularity of Jaws, because after the movie came out, it was became popular to go out and just fucking kill sharks.
Oh
yeah. It was like, hey, sharks are bad. The movie said so. Let's eradicate these villains of the sea. Let's take them out. And the years following Jaws, which saw just a tremendous impact to the population of sharks, great white sharks, in particular, just got fucking wiped out in years following this because people were they villainized sharks.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you can't not do a story or art or a song or whatever because you're afraid that a retard's going to go out and do a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah. He would take a lot of the money that he got from Jaws though, and like after the years after that, and it would all go to like shark research and stuff. Like he took it all and just gave it right back to help protect great whites and shit, and trying to do his part. He did just get consumed by guilt because it fucking.
He should have for what he did to those characters.
Yeah.
It's like I had no sympathy
have you seen the other Peter Benchley shark movie?
No.
Creature?
No.
You've never seen Creature?
I don't think so.
Oh man, you need to watch Creature. It's on Prime. It's a 2-part made for TV movie. Starring the guy from Coach. Remember that movie, that TV show, The Coach?
Oh yeah.
What was his name? Ed something. Yeah, he's in it. So what happens in that movie is as Nazi scientists crossbreed a human and a great white shark.
What?
And they make a half man, half shark that goes on a rampage in the Bahamas.
This sounds like a fantastic time to wrap this up because we're starting to get in some weird.
We're getting in some wild.
Well, it's interesting. It's like that was the other shark novel. Then in the 90s, like a year later, they did his octopus movie, The Beast. They made it into a 2-part made for TV movie with who was in that one? It was another TV guy. The guy from CSI, whatever his name is, the Yeah, the guy from the first CSI series. But yeah, there's another one. But yeah, you should check those out. They're good. They're like not great. They're not Jaws good. But they're fun movies. And again, it's another thing where they had to like, it's unrecognizable from like the source material.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, because they had to make a lot of changes because of the way he writes. But yeah, those are good. Yeah, they're on Prime. They're 2-parters. They're pretty good watches. They're 90s made for TV monster movies. So
nice.
Yeah, check those out. But yeah, Jaws, I mean, there's not really anything different you can say about it. I mean, it's one of those things where anything you say hasn't already been said, for since 1975, this movie's had nothing but praise. I can't think of anyone that's saying negative unless they're trying to be like edgelords. I imagine would probably have a lot to say about this movie. Like, probably.
Maybe, I guess.
Because I can't imagine anyone sincerely having anything negative to say about this movie. Like, I hate that fucking movie. It's so fucking.
No, not unless you're just like, I don't like blood, I don't like gore, that sort of thing.
Yeah, unless you're a pussy. Yeah, but
shark movies are boring.
Shark movies are boring. I've never watched a boring shark movie. But man, yeah, this is a good one. This is our very first part of our 4th of July series we're doing, I guess. We're doing 2 movies for 4th of July. This right here comes out July 1st, obviously.
Right, kick off the month.
But we are going to have a 4th of July special, which will probably be a little more. We'll talk more about the movie in that one than we talked about the movie in this one. There's a lot to talk about in that one. So we'll try anyways. We'll see.
Is that a promise?
Yeah. This coming Tuesday, July 4th, Independence Day, we're going to be watching Independence Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Jeff Goldblum and all kinds
Will
of people.
Smith, Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman, yeah, he's in it.
God,
I love that movie. Fantastic. Oh, I love it too. That's a movie I can put on just about any time. The sequel, not so much, but the first one, man, god damn it. First one's good.
Will Smith has some of like the best reactions ever in this film. In Independence Day. Oh my god, I love it.
It always makes me sad watching Independence Day, and then you watch because you watch Independence Day, you watch Christmas Vacation, you're like, god damn, Randy Quaid was such a good actor, and now
he's funny. He's funny. Yeah.
Now he's like squatting in motels in Canada.
Oh,
there's another one that I feel like that too. He was in True Lies. He was the partner in that.
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold. He's another one. He's funny, but he's fucking nuts.
Yeah, he is fucking nuts. He kind of leans into it though. He does a lot of self-deprecating comedy now. I've seen him in a lot of things.
You would have to. But
yeah, True Lies. It's a great movie too. They haven't released that movie since 2001. Isn't that crazy? I looked for it on DVD. It's impossible to find on DVD. It's never been released on physical media since 2001.
True Lies?
Yeah, never released on Blu-ray. They released it once in 2001 on DVD. Never been released since.
Wild.
No idea why. I think it's some kind of weird, probably some kind of licensing thing. I mean, it's got to be something weird like that. Because it's like the movie was like one of the biggest hits of the 90s.
Fuck, that movie was good.
And I love watching it. It's on Tubi.
Oh yeah, we watched it for sure.
Yeah, check it on Tubi. Tubi.com. So it's called TalkNet. Free for life. Yeah, free for life.
We have gotten so many free movies with that Cult Talk Net code. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, you can't have Tubi without it. But yeah, we will be having Independence Day coming out this Tuesday, and also we're having Cult of Campbell is going to have a 4th of July special with Eric and I, and Cult of Lore is even going to do a 4th of July special coming up next Thursday.
Out on the 6th. Yeah, with American Tall Tales, we're going to cover like the classics like Pecos Bill. I believe Eric's going to be doing John Henry. Bailey is going to be joining us on that one. Yeah. Bailey's going to be joining us for.
That doesn't sound very exciting. He's like, all right.
I'm like, what?
We're not touching that guy.
Such a okay. Yeah. Be more excited. You're being welcomed onto a podcast.
And Jerry is covering. We're not sure yet.
Ooh.
Who are you covering, Jerry? He doesn't know.
Said we're not sure yet. I'm interested to find out who this fellow we're not sure yet is and what he did for our society.
There you go, Jerry. You have to fill.
No, it's sure. It sounds like a Native American.
Have you ever watched that Disney flick with Patrick Swayze in it?
Yeah, we're actually American Tall Tales. We're gonna watch it before we do that episode because Bailey's never seen it. Jerry, have you ever seen it?
No.
It's a fun kids movie. He meets.
I haven't seen it. I've never seen it.
Wait, this sounds kind of familiar.
Patrick Swayze plays Pecos Bill. Oliver Platt plays Paul Bunyan, and I can't think of the name of the actor that plays John Henry.
That'd be a good one for you, dude, Jerry, because you have a beard, and he also had a beard. You could talk about beards.
Talk about beards. Beards and bros. Does Lucy Lawless play Calamity Jane? Who plays Calamity Jane?
I can't. Oh my God, no.
Lucy Lawless just plays herself. She's an American tall tale on her own, even though she's not American. I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember who plays Calamity Jane in that one. We'll have to look it up.
But and also this Wednesday, tomorrow, or Wednesday, yes, this is coming on first. Wednesday, the 5th episode of American Pie Slices, which that's also American. It's got American in it, so it's patriotic as well.
It's American as apple pie.
American as apple pie. So check out American Pie Slices everywhere you eat your favorite podcast. But yeah, this is going to be this is our first attempt at doing like an Independence Day type. Our second attempt at doing an American Independence Day kind of themed.
First successful one.
First successful one. We'll use that term lightly until after everything releases, then we'll see. But yeah, they're actually getting released as far as we know. So that's always good. I think there's like pictures of us doing that thing from our social media.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are if you looked far enough. But yeah, that's about all I can think of.
They exist. I know they exist.
But yeah, that's why I'm pretty sure you can find them. But yeah. The video never got released, but hey, if you watch Uncle Sam, check it on Tubi. You'll be disappointed.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We talked a little bit about Jaws in this Jaws-centric episode. But yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff. This is a fun time. This is what happens. We get together, we hang out, we talk.
Review it. We didn't do that out of.
Oh yeah, let's give it an out of 5 rating just to make this an actual review. So we can at least technically have reviewed it. Jerry, what do you rank Jaws?
I rank Jaws 5 out of 5 unfettered capitalists.
Wow.
The mayor.
The mayor. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 yellow barrels.
Yeah.
Ooh.
See if you can take 5 barrels down.
Ooh. Did they have 5 barrels on the boat?
They got to 3.
They got to 3. Yep. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 buckets of chum.
Ooh.
Chum buckets.
Good ones.
And unanimously, I too am going to give it a 5 out of 5 bow-legged woman.
Ooh, nice. This is a perfect 5 out of 5 across the board. I don't think we've had a movie that's got a 5 out of 5 across the board.
Yeah, it's hard to find a movie that's closer to perfect than this.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's definitely up there in my list of favorite movies.
Oh yeah, the jump scares got me still. Like with the body popping out. I can't remember his name right now.
Ben Gardner.
Ben Gardner popping out and everything. Like it still got me. Like it's amazing. And you don't find many movies, let alone horror thriller movies that are like that.
I heard a Hollywood urban legend about that head. It didn't get. After the Jaws, it kind of went missing for a while, because Jaws props go for crazy money, and the stuff from the orca is super. I don't say easy to find, but it's very prevalent because after the movie they just drug the orca on the beach and just left it there. There was no they were oh, we need to preserve this, and it was on I think the frame of it's still in Martha's Vineyard on the beach somewhere, but it's been picked clean of everything. People have taken planks and all the shit from it, so it's picked clean. But the head for Ben Gardner was elusive for a long time. And then randomly, I think it was found on the set of The Walking Dead.
Oh shit!
In the 3rd season, the season with the governor, where the governor had those tanks of heads. It just popped up amongst the prop heads.
Oh my!
Weird.
Yeah, it was just a weird it's a Hollywood urban legend kind of thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've always heard it. In the forums and stuff, people always share the articles and stuff. But yeah, for a long time, it was just it was no one knew where it went. It was just got kind of lost amongst props and shipped around to different prop houses, I'm sure, and ended up here and there. Then when they needed a bunch of prop heads for The Walking Dead, they got dumped into a tank, and someone was like, "It's Ben Gardner's head from Jaws," and that's where it was found. But yeah, there we go, guys. Thank you for joining us here to kick off July, the most American month. And it's not what they call it, the most American month.
It is the most American of all the months.
The most American of all the months. I'm sure Red Solo Cup sees a big uptick this month. Oscar Mayer hot dogs and Jet Puff marshmallows, I'm sure just skyrocket. If you're in the stocks, get ahead. Get in that jet puffed marshmallow stock ahead of July because it goes up. But thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you check us out this coming week. There's going to be Monday, Call to Campbell, Tuesday, Independence Day 4, or Independence Day. I don't know why I call it Independence Day 4.
ID4.
Yeah, ID4. There you go. Wednesday, American Pie Slices. And then Thursday, Cult of Lore to cap us off for this patriotic celebration. And we hope you have a fantastic 4th of July. And we'll see you here in a couple days. I've been Ty.
I've been Bailey.
I've been Jerry.
And I'm Ben.
Make sure you follow us on all our social medias at Cult Talk Net, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, everything. And thank you for joining us. And how do we sign this off? How do you sign it
sunny?
off? Stay sunny.
Stay sharky.
Stay
Sharky.
I think this podcast is done.
Yep. Stay sharky.
Right.